Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be doing a pregnancy related video. I am obviously not pregnant anymore. Well, it's not that obvious. But if you are new, I am not pregnant, but I did give birth about almost 2 months ago actually. As of today, my daughter is almost 8 weeks. She's about like 7 weeks and like a few days or something. She's gonna be 2 months next week on the 20th. She was born May 20th, if you didn't know or if you haven't stuck around since the beginning or since I gave birth. But today, as you can see by the title, I am going to be talking about what people do not tell you about postpartum. And if you don't know what postpartum is, it's basically after your birth. So basically, I am going to talk about the things that I experienced during postpartum and things that I didn't know that I would have and things that I didn't know I was going to experience based on my research and based on things that people told me and obviously from other people's personal experiences. Let's get started with this video and let me tell you guys what I experienced that nobody will tell you. Okay, so the biggest thing that I believe that nobody usually tells you about pregnancy and about postpartum is the recovery. So this is obviously my first child. This is the first time I've experienced pregnancy and the first time that I've ever experienced postpartum symptoms. Just to be clear with you guys and to be raw with you guys, it wasn't the best feeling in the world. I personally hated recovery, and from what I've researched, you can actually take about 6 weeks to like 6 months to fully recover, not just physically but obviously emotionally as well, because obviously you put yourself through like the biggest thing in the world, pushing out a baby. So there are times where people will have to push out the baby vaginally and times where people have to take the baby out through C-section. And for me, I did a vaginal birth. Both ways to give birth has a completely different way to recover. Obviously, if you do a C-section, it will take more time for you to recover because you're literally cutting up your stomach just to get a baby out. But with a vaginal birth, nobody tells you that a recovery is like the worst thing in the world, like literally so bad. Maybe for me personally, I just hated it so much. Number one being, when you give birth, you can't pee. It is so hard for you to pee. They do not let you leave the hospital until you pee. So if you don't pee, you ain't going nowhere. Honestly, I thought like, oh, I'm not gonna need to pee because I didn't have that feeling of needing to pee. But let me tell you guys, I was sitting on the hospital bed and I actually did not really move. I moved from one room onto a wheelchair, from the wheelchair onto another hospital bed in a different room. And I literally sat on the bed until the nurses told me that I needed to go use the bathroom. Oh my freaking gosh. It was the weirdest feeling in the world, not only because my downstairs was in pain and I could feel the soreness of it, but when I had to get up, I literally felt like I had noodles for legs. And especially if you are taking an epidural, you don't feel your legs for a good, like, I don't even know, however long your labor is, that's how long you don't feel your legs for. So it's literally like noodles. Okay, so I had about like a 6 or 7 hour labor, so obviously I did feel my legs during that time. That is something they do not tell you. When you take an epidural, you obviously don't feel anything from the waist down, but when you actually feel of not feeling anything, feel like you're handicapped. And it's just so weird. It's a weird feeling. And then when you start getting your feeling back after the epidural wears off and after you've given birth, your legs just feel even more like noodles because you didn't walk for so long and you didn't have that feeling of being able to move your legs for so long. Moving from the bed to the wheelchair was kind of like wobbly. But when I sat on the next bed after I moved rooms, I had to go use the bathroom and I didn't need to go use the bathroom. But when the nurse forced me to go try and use the bathroom, my pee came out. I wore a diaper, basically like a diaper, for after birth, and it was like this huge pad. It soaked basically through the pad and through the underwear, and not only was it pee, but it was blood as well. They give you a lot of fluid during the time where, you know, you're in labor or whatever, and basically it's not really pee, it's just the fluid that they've given you, and it's all the fluid that you've built up in your bladder just coming out. And the fact that I was sitting, I didn't feel like peeing, so the way that I was sitting, it was basically closing my bladder and holding all the liquids that was in my bladder. And then when I finally got up, it just started leaking down my legs, and I was so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm literally just peeing myself right now. But obviously the nurses have seen all of this before, so they were not fazed by it. But for me, it was a weird feeling because I'm literally letting go of my pee and I have no control. And every single time I had to get up to pee, it would just leak down my legs, and I would have to jump into the shower and wash whatever I could because I couldn't really like scrub my vagina. And on to that topic, I will definitely tell you guys that feeling of having a swollen vagina. Yeah, it's TMI, guys, but this is literally the things that nobody tells you about postpartum. Like I said, my bladder was a waterfall, so that's basically something that I didn't expect to happen. I really did not expect that. Moving on to your vagina, it will be a very swollen. And saying that it's swollen is an understatement. Let me just describe to you exactly how it feels and how it looks. It basically just feels like somebody ripped your vagina open like this, and then you got so many stitches and you are just like so sore, like working out your body after not working out for so long, and your sore muscles just feel so tired and you can't move it, and every time you try to move it or like you touch it, it hurts like a bitch. Yeah, that's how your vagina feels like. Well, for me personally, that's how it felt like, and not being able to like spread your legs open and keeping it closed all the time because it hurts so much to stretch. Oh, and it also feels like sunburn. When I get sunburn like on my shoulders or my chest or my neck or something, and I am moving and then the skin stretches, that's how it feels. It feels like sunburn burn. But how it looks like, oh my god, this is what my boyfriend described it. He described it as a hot dog bun. A swollen hot dog bun. And for me, when I personally looked at it myself, it actually does look like a swollen hot dog bun. And I know it sounds really weird to say, but you know, people don't tell you what you will experience. And I know it's a beautiful thing. You're giving birth, you're giving life, you're growing this beautiful human inside your stomach. But the recovery afterwards is just the craziest thing, and to be honest, I hated the recovery part. The only thing that I really disliked about it was probably the pushing, because I couldn't feel anything, so I don't know if I was pushing properly. And at first I wasn't pushing properly, and then afterwards I started having the feeling and knowing that I am pushing, and I can kind of feel it even though I was numb, and I was able to push my daughter out. Also, the next day when I went home, I wasn't able to walk. First of all, I couldn't really open my legs properly to walk, and also I had to walk slowly and I felt like a grandma. And getting into the car and getting out of the car just was very hard as well. Needing to take a shower was also very hard for me, obviously because of my swollen vagina and because I wasn't able to scrub down there like I normally would when I wasn't in pain. And also getting in and out of the bed was very hard. Like I said, vagina problems. I wasn't really able to wear too much tight clothing because my vagina felt super constricted, and also I feel like when I was wearing a pad to catch all of the blood and discharge and things like that that was coming out after the birth, it made my vagina even more sore. Wearing a pad and having the pad be super close to sensitive skin, it just felt like it was rubbing against it like this, and it felt like carpet burn. Also, peeing hurt as well. And that's basically my experiences, and that's all of the things that I felt that I did not know was going to happen. And those are the things that people don't tell you about postpartum. And you're bringing this beautiful human into the world, you don't really think about the bad recovery that you get afterwards. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit TMI, but you know what? I think first-time moms really need to understand and to know the pain that you're gonna put yourself through, and you're expecting birth to be super smooth, but it's not going to be smooth. It could be, but recovery will not be smooth. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and all of the TMI things that I told you about personally for me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking that red button down below and click the bell to get notifications. And yeah, I post Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace!